If you have under 10,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, here's the brutal truth. Something's just not working. But there is hope, and in this video, I want to share with you how you can smash through that number and beyond. My name's Chris, also known as the Artist Manifest. I'm a full-time rock and hip-hop artist. I have about 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. We had songs in the Super Bowl and the Olympics last year, and I'm the creator of the Spotify 5-Day Challenge. Now, that stat that 80% of artists have less than 100 monthly listeners tells me that most artists are just uploading their songs and not doing anything to market or tell people about the song. Maybe they saw some TikTok or they heard some story that you can easily go viral, you can make all this money with music. But look, if it was that easy, then everybody would do it, right? And if it was so easy and the path was so simple, then that road would lead to nowhere, okay? This business is hard, and I'm not going to tell you that it's not. I'm not going to tell you that it requires like no work. It requires a ton of work, a ton of effort. It requires courage, persistency, perseverance. It requires a real fighter's no give up mindset. So if you have that, then it is achievable. Because even though it is hard, well, you can see that 80% of artists are giving up. So the competition is really small. So by you just doing some of these simple things that I'm going to share in this video, you can easily outpass and outpace the competition and have 10,000 monthly listeners easy. But why would you even want 10,000 monthly listeners? Like, what's the point of that? And why is that a good goal? Just like a lot of, entrepreneurs in this space, it's like the first goal is $10,000 a month. Well, 10,000 monthly listeners puts you in a space where you can start working and collaborating with other artists. It's a spot where people start to take you a little bit more seriously. It's like, oh wow, you got 10,000 monthly listeners? It's kind of like 1,000 is cool. 100 is like, okay, you're working on it. Okay, you got 10,000 monthly listeners. That's how many people are listening to your song, which works out to be about 500 to 1,000 streams a day. But you got to understand the doors that opens for you to work with other artists that have 10 to 30,000 streams a day. Like all of a sudden you can collaborate with them and work with them because they're going to take you way more seriously. And by you collaborating and now you release a song together and you're on their Spotify profile and they're on yours, like that real estate and how valuable that is to be on someone's profile for life, to be a part of their ecosystem in their music for life. Like what if they hit 50? What if they hit 100,000? What if they hit millions, right? And you're a part of that and you start to get streams from that for life. Like not only like just the streams and the fan base growth, but the royalties, right? That are just consistently coming in because you've partnered with other people. Tony Robbins talks about when you're growing a business, one of the fastest ways to grow is to integrate yourself into other people's businesses, right? And that's literally what you're doing every time you collaborate with a different artist. You are literally integrating and partnering with them. And so that gives you such an awesome, easy lift. And that's one of the easiest things to do is do collaborations. Now, does it require work? Yeah. You got to DM people, you got to email them, you got to negotiate, you got to sometimes drop money, or you got to let go of some publishing or a piece of the master, but you've got to work with them. But the cool thing is, and what I say in my Spotify challenges is because you've got that collaboration and that person has monthly listeners and you're both going to promote it, now like 80% of your marketing is done. Like the biggest lever, right, that you can actually pull to get more streams, you just pulled it by doing a collaboration. Sure, we can do all the other things that I'm going to talk about, but that is one of the biggest levers. The author of the book who wrote The 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss, he talks about, when he wakes up in the morning, what's like he'll make his list of things he wants to accomplish. But like out of all the things that he wants to do, what's the one thing, if he does that, then nothing else really matters, or it just takes care of all those things. Because it's just like, I'm going to talk about ads. I can talk about social influencers. I can talk about posting organic content, right? We can do all those things and they're great. And there's plenty of other things you can do. But if we do that one thing with the collaboration and pull that lever, that can just do so much more, right? It's like all of a sudden, boom, you're just smashing it. So I really want to encourage you, like that's one of the main reasons you want to get there, because it gives you leverage. But not only that, if you're a touring artist, and this is what I was telling one of my coaching students, is like if you're going to run ads, you're going to promote, if you're touring, you want to focus on promoting and marketing in that country where you tour, because that's the fastest way you're going to get ROI. And if you have 10,000 monthly listeners and all those are in a certain state or even in a certain city, because it's very easy to get that many listeners just in one city, you can now go to a bar, a club, and you can say, hey, I've got this many listeners. Look, I got this many listeners. Here's the data to show you. I can draw people. Let me open. You know, I was telling another student the other day who wants to tour more. Well, I said, look, if you play this style of music, look in your city, in your area, who are the artists that are playing the shows you want to play, playing the gigs that you want to play, and go reach out to those people. But I said, get your streams up first. Get your streams up first by doing all these things that I'm going to share in a second, and then reach out to them. Because now you have something of value. You can bring something to the table, as opposed to you're like, oh, can I please open? Can I please tour with you? And that's what I said, is like, look, see if you can open first, and then build the relationships and be the one that they call on to open, because you've got monthly listeners. And I'm talking about maybe artists that are traveling to your area, or they could be local. It all depends. But trying to get on that show and build that, because you've got monthly listeners, right? And then you slowly build that. Hopefully you get to build a relationship with the agent, the booking agent, or the manager, and now more doors open. But you've got to be willing to lay the foundation first. In a lot of my other videos, I talked about how to get your streams up. And if we want to get to 10,000 monthly listeners, that's only 500 to 1,000 streams a day. I shared in another video how I had a song only getting 200 streams a day, right? It was only getting 200. And from, I think, a $10 to a $50 a day ad budget, we're able to take that song to over 2,000 streams a day. So what is that? That's 20,000 monthly listeners. So if you did $10 to $20 a day, okay, $10 a day is only $300 a month. $20 a day is only $600 a month. You know, what do you need to lower of your personal expenses so you can have some more money to put into your business and the growth of your music? What can you cut out? You know, can you work out from home? Can you not eat out? Can you not go get your fancy latte? You know what I'm saying? You know, can you save some money, scrape? Can you sell something? Sell some designer clothes, list it on Grail, list it on eBay, you know, sell some stuff to have a budget to put into this so that you can grow your music career, right? Like, stop making excuses. Like, I saw an artist post about, well, oh, that works for you because you're this type of artist. And I'm just like, look, if you want to fight for your limitations, then you have to keep them. You know, they're trying to say, oh, because I was a Christian artist, or because I'm a metal artist, or because I'm a hip hop artist, or because it's this, you know, and they want to make excuses why they can't. You know, some of these artists that I'm coaching are like, some of them are classical, some of them are rock, some of them are hip hop. One of them was just an instrumental guitarist. Some was just like worship stuff, like all kinds of genres that you could possibly imagine. Pop, punk, rock, EDM. It doesn't matter. There is a massive audience. And so the easiest way to get to those monthly listeners is just turn on ads. You know, come to my Spotify 5-day challenge and ask questions, and I'll show you how to actually do it. But you can just turn on ads and promote to a playlist. Like, this is the other thing. Like, not only did we get 2,000 streams a day on that song, all the other songs that were on that playlist that I was promoting, they got a lift. So you're going to get way more than that with just a small amount of budget. Now, you got to have a good song, right? You got to have a good song, and you got to focus on that one song for long enough and promote it. But that's the cool thing, is that, like, if you find one song and one ad that is crushing it, and you're marketing to a playlist, and you have other songs that come out, well, you just add that song to the playlist when it comes out, and then that song will automatically get a lift. Of course, you can post organic content. You can go shoot with your iPhone. It doesn't have to be fancy. It can be in your studio, in your car, walking. Get a cheap little tripod, set it up. You know, some of my ads have been me making tea while I'm singing the song, you know, while I'm pumping gas, while I'm at the grocery store. Maybe it's not always in the studio. Maybe it is. But maybe it's with your dog or your cat. You know what I mean? Like you're performing the song and it's shocking and it's standing out in the feed. Because you got to understand, like, people are, like, it's interrupt marketing. When you're running meta ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, or TikTok ads, whatever ads you're running, you're trying to interrupt people. Like here on YouTube, if you're watching this, or maybe you're listening to the podcast, I don't know. But the reason we have a crazy headline or YouTube title is to grab your attention. The reason we have multiple YouTube thumbnails that we test now is because we want to see which one is grabbing people's attention. If you go onto Netflix now and you go to watch your movie or your favorite TV show, you might see a certain thumbnail on that movie. But then you might log in again later on and it's a different thumbnail. Why? Because they're trying to trick you and make you think, oh, there's like a new movie out, or it's a new version, to get you back and watching it again. Or they're trying to test, like, what are people clicking on? Oh, this one got a way higher click-through rate, so we're going to test that thumbnail. So Netflix is doing that. We do it on YouTube, and we definitely do it on ads. Because, like, if people aren't clicking on it, then they're not listening to it, they're not saving it, they're not adding it to a playlist, you're not triggering the algorithm. So it all comes back to really is, what's that thumbnail, what's that headline, and what's that banger hit song that's going to get people's attention over to stream your music, to get your monthly listeners up, and then to open more doors. And you got to understand, like, once you start doing this with one song, and then the next song, and then the next song, right? So now when you release a new song, maybe your ceiling right now is 10 listens the first day, or maybe it's 100 streams the first day. And then you start scaling it. Now every time you release a new song, you get 1,000 streams a day. I know for me, when we release a new song, it's normally about 10,000 streams. The next song that we do, we're going to go really hard on Spotify marquee ads, which is basically retargeting ads. We're going to do Spotify playlist pitches, obviously to the editorial playlist, but also maybe Submit Hub or Playlist Push, something like that. We're also going to run ads. It's going to add to all my playlists. We're going to do social media, but we're going to go deep and heavier than I normally do, because, like, look, it's easy to just coast once you get to a certain spot. But if you want to get to the next level, you've got to do something different. What got you here won't get you there. And the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Maybe you've tried stuff, you've fallen down, you're frustrated. Can I encourage you to get up and go again? Can I encourage you to put gas on that pedal again? Like, let's push down. Let's stop doing the start, stop, and let's just keep going and not quit. King Solomon says in Proverbs 24:16 that even though a righteous man falls down 7 times, he gets up and goes again. And I also want to encourage you, because sometimes, like, our health and certain things stop us, and that's normally because of our attitude. King Solomon also says, I think it's in Proverbs 13:15, it talks about a merry heart does well with the medicine. And so if you can try to do your work in a cheerful attitude, a positive attitude, if you can see the cup half full instead of half empty all the time, if you can stop comparing yourself to other people and just focus on you, not comparing yourself to me or anyone else. I need to stop comparing myself to other artists, right? And say, look, no, I'm in competition with me, Chris. And are you doing the best, Chris? I say that to myself, like, am I really? Did I really do everything you could do to promote and market this song? Really? Did I really give 100%? And I got to be honest with myself. No, I didn't. And it's like, if I'm buying a Fear of God shirt, or I'm buying a designer this or designer that, and then I'm not putting it into my Spotify marquee ads, or I'm not putting it into my music marketing, and I'm letting that fall by the wayside, or I'm eating out and I'm letting my music die, where the craziest thing is, too, is like, look, like, I've been living off of my music for almost 20 years now. Like, that's how I eat. That's how I bought my house, my car, like everything, right? That's like how I built my wealth, right? It's through music. And it's like, why would I not continue to invest in that? Especially, like, this vehicle of music. Like, I've said this in other videos, that music is an asset. It's something, if you grow big enough, right, that it starts to create money, somebody might want to buy that one day and sell your music catalog. And that might sound crazy to you, but that's a goal. That should be a dream for you. I never thought in a million years my music would be worth anything, let alone people wanting to stream it. But it can happen. And it can happen to you if you stay in the game and you keep pushing through that messy middle. You know, Joshua 1:8 says, be strong and courageous. What is courageous? Willing to step out and face your fears, willing to step out and face the criticism, willing to put ads out even though you get these hate comments, these spam comments of people that are like not really very nice and not really friendly, but they just live in their mom's basement and they're not doing what they're doing, what you're doing. You know, the critic loves to criticize that which they wish they were doing. You know, they wish they had the guts to do what you're doing, to put out the songs, you know, to invest in the studio, but they'd rather sit, you know, at the sidelines and watch you live your dreams. And that's the other thing that we got to do. Sometimes we got to turn off the Netflix, we got to turn off the movies, and we got to get busy learning this stuff. And don't let this just inspire you. You know, don't let this just be entertainment for you. Let this be something where you take action. Like, what are you going to do from this video? Are you going to get a collaboration? Are you going to market what you've already got? Are you going to start a playlist and start marketing it? Are you going to run ads for the first time? Like, what are you going to do from this video? Because I'm not just here trying to tickle your ears. You know, inspiration without action is just entertainment. So don't let this just be entertainment for you. Let this be the day where you put a stake in the ground and you're moving forward to your dreams. I hope to see you on the next Spotify 5-day challenge. It's we're doing it every month. There's still tickets available. Click the link below and I hope to see you there.